Hi everyone, and happy return to the channel. We're diving into some genuinely terrifying true horror stories from the US today. These are real, they are not fiction. So, if you enjoy scary stuff, pay attention because something freaky is about to happen. And let's try to fix that tonight if you don't get terrified easily. These three terrible tales, which begin with one of the most enigmatic cases ever, may keep you up later than you'd like. Let's start with one of the most mysterious incidents in recent years, the death of Elisa Lam. Elisa traveled alone to California in 2013 from her home in Canada when she was just 21 years old. She booked a room at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, which had a bad reputation for being, well, not the most comfortable or safest place to stay. So while Elisa was staying at this hotel, things appeared to be going well at first. But soon enough, things took a bad turn. She vanished from view. Her family, who were accustomed to receiving regular updates from her, started to worry since the hotel staff had not seen her. After they called the police, they started looking for her. The police looked everywhere, but they found no leads for days. Subsequently, they discovered an extremely peculiar item, a security camera from the hotel's lift. You can see Elisa getting into the elevator in this video, and what follows next is strange. Elisa repeatedly pushes buttons on the elevator in the video, but it stays still. She appears tense, as like she's trying to hide from someone. She occasionally peeks out, almost as if she thinks someone is following her, but nobody is. She also uses odd hand movements that give the impression that she is speaking with an invisible person. It's unsettling, and nobody can still figure out exactly what was going on in that elevator. But here's where it gets even stranger. A few days later, hotel guests started complaining about the water in their rooms. They said it tasted and smelled bad. So, the hotel maintenance workers went to check the water tanks on the roof, and what they found was horrifying. Inside one of the tanks was Elisa's body. This is the point though. It was challenging to get to the water tanks. The doors to the roof were secured, and there were alarms in place. Nobody could figure out how Elisa entered the tank, much less how she got up there. The entire incident is simply so odd, but the police finally determined that it was an accidental death. A lot of individuals think that something else took place. Was there foul play involved? Was there a supernatural component involved? Or was it merely a sad mishap? Alright, let's change directions and go to Tennessee for our upcoming story. This one goes all the way back to the early 1800s and features the Bell Witch, one of the most well-known hauntings in American history. In this story, the Bell family of Adams, Tennessee, is described as farmers. The Bell family had a peaceful, quiet existence at first on their property. However, strange occurrences began to happen in 1817. The family started to hear strange noises coming from their home, like chains dragging across the floors and scratching sounds coming from the walls. It wasn't simply sounds either. Things in the house began to move by themselves. But the thing they dubbed the Bell Witch was the scariest aspect of this haunting. This was no normal ghost. Bell Witch had a terrible temper. The devil frequently attacked the family's father, John Bell. It would pull his hair, slap him, and suffocate him. But the worst of the attacks were directed at John's daughter, Betsy. This unknown force would beat, pinch, and scratch Betsy. The family was afraid. The Bell Witch was loud as well. Visitors from all around the region claimed to have heard the ghost talk when they paid the family a visit. It would converse with guests, making predictions about the future and scaring individuals by knowing intimate details about their lives. For the Bell family, this was an active and very genuine haunting, not simply a silent one. As time passed, the Bell Witch directed an increasing amount of her ire towards John Bell. When John Bell fell ill in 1820, a lot of people thought the witch was to blame. John was discovered dead one day, and next to his body was an enigmatic vial of liquid. John's death was attributed to the Bell Witch, and the haunting appeared to end at that point. Talks about the Bell Witch are still common today. Ghost hunters frequently visit the site where the Bell farm once stood, and many people think the spirit still resides there. The area around the former Bell property is reported to be haunted by ghostly figures and weird noises. One of America's scariest legends is that of the Bell Witch, regardless of your belief in ghosts. Our final story takes us to New Orleans in the early 1900s, where a terrifying serial killer known as the Axeman roamed the streets. This is one of the scariest unsolved mysteries in American history, and the Axeman's story still sends chills down people's spines to this day. In 1918 and 1919, New Orleans was rocked by a number of horrible killings. The murderer would sneak into people's houses at night and use an axe to assault them. Fear swept the city, and nobody knew where or when the Axeman would next attack. But what made the Axeman even more terrifying was the strange letter he sent to a local newspaper. In the letter, he claimed that he wasn't a human being, but a spirit or demon. He wrote that he would kill again, but there was one way to avoid being his next victim: play jazz music. The message explained that the Axeman would roam the city on a particular night, but that anyone performing jazz music would be saved. The people of New Orleans gave this their full attention. Jazz music flooded the city that night. Jazz was being played on every corner, in every house, and in every bar. As it happened, nobody died that evening. But the anxiety didn't stop there. After that night, the Axeman carried on with his murderous rampage, and his identity is still a mystery. While some believe he was just a crazy person, others believe that he may have had strange abilities. In any case, one of the most eerie urban legends in the city is the tale of the Axeman of New Orleans. There you have it, 3 real-life, horrifying stories from the USA. These stories remind us that sometimes real life may be just as scary, if not scarier, than any horror movie. These stories demonstrate that there are many mysteries in the world, such as a murderer with an axe frightening a city, a violent ghost haunting a family, or an unexplained death in a haunted hotel.